abnorm. And the abnorm is when the royals play up or when the royals do something is abnorm, and we all want to know and we all want to peer into their backyard and see what's going on. And when they're naughty, boy, do we really want to peer back in. And what's the medium? Well, it's the media, isn't it? Was it Marshall McLuhan said either the medium is the message or the message is the medium? I can never remember which. I think it was the medium is the message. And blaming the media, blaming the press is all very well. But there are two things that I would point out there. One is they're doing their job, a job in a free society. And if you've ever lived in a society that's authoritarian, where the government is able to either legislate or heavy arm the miscreants in the press, then you know what freedom of the press is all about and how good it is, and good to feel there is somebody out there that can actually highlight some of the poor things that are going on in our society. I won't name the country, but one that joined the EU not too long ago. And just after they joined, a television station managed to get the Minister of Agriculture onto the show and actually showed video of him taking a bribe, a brown paper bag full of money. And it was a scandal, or it would be in most countries. What did the government do? They passed legislation very quickly. They called the cabinet together, passed legislation very quickly that said television stations weren't allowed to show that sort of program. Easy peasy, wasn't it? Well, at least we don't have that here. At least I don't think we do. Yes, we have people manipulating the media, and we have the media who are intrusive because they know there's somebody somewhere trying to manipulate them, trying to get the good news out, trying to persuade them that nothing is wrong. So it's always a contest and a battle. But I would say, thank God we've got a free media. And free doesn't mean irresponsible. Yes, there are some irresponsible journalists around and some irresponsible publications or television channels and so on. Yes, there are. Indeed there are. But by the same token, most of the media understand that when they put out a news piece, that their responsibility is to make sure that it's accurate. Freedom doesn't mean you can just go around saying anything, which is how many newspapers in the Balkans and the Baltics and Eastern Europe behaved immediately after the wall came down, or whenever they were liberated, quote, and they just thought that they could say anything. There was no responsibility at all. But free media, there's no free media without responsibility. And it's well that everybody remembers that, whether you're dealing with the media or whether you're of the media or whatever. There's got to be responsibility, otherwise it's just havoc, just plain havoc. Anyway, it's 18 minutes into our 30-minute program, and I've just actually downloaded all sorts of things. I've not listened to them. So shall we? Why don't we? There's something on this. Keep it 98 plus 2. I have no idea what that's about, but join me in the experiment. Let's take a listen.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
All I'm going to say is that was interesting. Don't know that it's something I want to listen to for quite a long while. So why don't we? Here's one, Ready or Not. Let's see what that has to say. Well, that was a bit more like it, wasn't it? Yes, that was rather pretty. What was that called again? That was Ready or Not. Well, here we are. Here I come, ready or not. Just checking out the news headlines. There's one that hits me there is that, everybody is in denial, I suppose, is if we all get together in a group, it really doesn't help pass on the virus, and there are experts that will come out and say it doesn't, and experts that say it does, and so on and so forth. But at long last, the mayor of San Francisco, I think it is, has admitted that that demonstrations, immediately following demonstrations, there was a spike in coronavirus. So even the politicians are beginning to admit that where we all get together, a few in my name, as it were, then it raises the danger of spreading the thing all over again. And I went filming yesterday, and I must say that I sat in the park with my two companions as we were filming, Dan the cameraman, and Annie, my co-producer and presenter, and we enjoyed the sun, and we enjoyed the people in between our shooting, and it was very pleasant, and everybody kept their distance, and there was no mob, and so on. And then we went down to the station, because our local bistro, the Runaway, award-winning, lovely place, not available to everybody, of course, because not everybody goes through Lewis Station on a train. But it's a wonderful place, and Pavel down there, we said, Pavel, could we have a beer? And yes, he sold us a beer. And he said, unfortunately, I can't leave you in here, but if you want to sit out in the sun, the station's got beautiful flowers and so on, so it's a very wide station. And we did. We sat out and enjoyed it for a little while. And once again, very few passengers, so we weren't hemmed in. The only people we were close to was one another each day, and because we work together all the time, we consider ourselves as the two families, as it were. So we didn't break any rules, and we enjoyed it, and there was no mad rush, and that's the way it should be. That's the way to bring it back, gently and calmly. So if this is a nice weekend coming up, don't immediately jump out, get into the car and rush down to the beach, because you might come back with something that you don't want. That may have been said about other things in the past, but it's very true today of coronavirus, as I call it, the pop virus, because Corona was a brand of fizzy drinks. When I was a boy. Anyway, enough of that. We've just got time to listen to one more experimental track. So let me see if I can choose one. Let's see. There's one here that I wondered what it was all about, if I can just find it. And it was, Gold in Them There Hills. Let's have a listen to Gold in Them There Hills. Well, we got 2 out of 3 this morning. That wasn't bad at all. Quite enjoyed that. I found myself jigging to it. Well, we're almost out of time and a couple of minutes to go. So just let me tell you what we were filming about yesterday, because it's an interesting point of history that very few know about. And it's the Battle of Haywards Heath. Haywards Heath at the moment is only considered to be a junction for trains from London to Brighton and spinning off then along the south coast through Lewes to Eastbourne and Hastings. But it was in existence in the 1500s during the English Civil War, and Oliver Cromwell and his crowd held it, or at least they held Lewes, and the Royalists who were holed up in Arundel and Chichester needed a power base in the south, so they set out to come and capture Lewes, where the house, which is still extant, has now got a park, Southover Grange, and they were going to take it, and they were going to capture Newton, who was the leading Puritan at the time, and then they would have their base established. But it didn't work out that way, because some Cromwellians faced them at Haywards Heath, and the Battle of Haywards Heath took place. 200 people died on the Royalist side, not known how many on the Cromwellian side, but the Royalists were defeated. Away they went, back to Chichester, back to Arundel, and unfortunately history was changed, or at least that was history. History would have been changed if in fact the Royalists had won the Battle of Haywards Heath. So there you are. Never heard of it, have you? But now you should, because it was one of the key battles of the war. Not the biggest, but one of the key. Thank you very much for being with me this morning. Sorry for all the cock-ups, but there we go. It's bound to happen. With somebody like me in charge, they are anyway. That's what all the people who work with me are. Say, okay, so we'll go out with our usual Ben sound, if we can find it. Ben sound buddy, and we'll be back tomorrow, and we'll look forward to being with you then.